are Gathering of the Geeks, a podcast and YouTube show built around the things we as geeks all love. Hashtag we gather on Sundays. Thank you for checking out the One With Zeddy. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined by the Ted Lasso to my Coach Beard, Chris Evans. Chris, how are you?
Like Laura Gaynor said, I will survive.
Another one of those weeks, eh, Chris?
Sometimes, yeah.
And of course, we are joined by 1/3 of the Vigilante 1939, and that would be Nick Zednick. Zeddy, how are you, sir?
As long as I am Roy and not Nate, I am doing absolutely fantastic. I even dressed for the occasion tonight, Emmett, just for you. I wore the good guys in black.
Hey, now.
You're Nate in the first season, but
geez.
not in the second season of Ted Lasso.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. I want to say what's up to everybody in the comments already. Juan, Lauren, Phil, Walsh, Eric, Cookie, Grabs, and I think that was everybody. Gathering of the Geeks is available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Gathering of the Geeks and you will find us. Okay, so funny story. We came on, I don't know, 5, maybe 10 minutes before the show. We check out the comments. Our good friend of ours, Juan, started it. He said, "Happy birthday, Zeddy," and then Lauren said, "Happy birthday," and then Eric said, "Happy birthday." It's not Zeddy's birthday, but thank you so much for caring so much about our good friend.
I think we just want it to be Zeddy's birthday. It's a celebration of Zeddy tonight, and
Everybody wants me to be older. I appreciate it.
Yes. Well, also, I think I don't follow baseball. I don't know what's going on. You guys said the White Sox won again. That's cool. Maybe they're just kind of like, the Sox didn't win the bet, so happy birthday. Consultation prize.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Grabs.
Thanks
so much for saying so.
It's Emmett's birthday.
I think
it's everybody's birthday.
It's everybody. It's like that Oprah thing. You get a birthday. You get a birthday.
Oh man,
it's a good day. It's a good day.
Yeah, it's Z Day here on Gathering of the Geeks. So thanks so much for joining us, Eddie. Always good, man, when we're talking, when we're chatting. So who wants to go first? What did everybody get up to this week? Eddie, you're watching things nonstop, going to the movie theaters 6,000 times a day. Nobody can keep up. What's grabbed your attention this week?
Yeah, wow. Believe it or not, I went to the movie theater and I saw 2 movies in one day, everybody. That's right. I saw 2 different movies in one day. Never attempted that before, so that is a first. But, man, this could take up the whole show. Try not to do that. Okay, so on the movies and TV side, I finished The Offer on Paramount Plus, which is the making of The Godfather. Show really flew under the radar, so if you haven't checked that out, go do it, especially if you love the making of movies and stuff like that. If you love The Godfather, it's even better for you. I'm all caught up with the season finale of Obi-Wan, Miss Marvel, Superman and Lois. I'm all caught up on the TV side of things, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Movie side of things, I saw Elvis, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and I saw The Black Phone, which is the latest horror thriller starring Ethan Hawke. So I'll leave you guys with that for right now.
Well, let's actually. You mentioned a lot of things there, and that's fine. We sort of offhand mentioned Superman and Lois here, offhand mostly just because of how up and down the season has been. I can't remember the last time we mentioned it, Chris. I think the last time we mentioned it.
Last episode. Because the hiatuses keep coming. Like, was there a new episode this week and I missed it, Zeddy?
There was a new episode this week. Yeah.
I didn't even know because the hiatuses come so often. I can't keep track of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys were doing World's Finest for the Vigilante, 1939, kind of just recapping, episodes. So you guys haven't been doing that, and I think it's because of the release schedule. It's kind of all over the place, and I think the quality of this season has also dipped. So Chris, let's just start with you a little bit. I know you started out mostly liking the show, then disliking it because of the Cushings, and then I think the last time we talked about it, the Cushings were kind of being not phased out of it, but they switched the storylines a little bit, and then you were liking it. And you haven't watched the last episode, but what's been going on lately with your enjoyment level for Superman and Lois?
I love the show. I love the first season, even with its ups and downs. I adore the first season. I mean, I think when we did World's Finest last season was basically just a 45-minute high five contest each episode, and it was a blast. This season, though, it took a dip. It went really dramatic for the sake of drama. A lot of stuff with the Cushings I felt was unnecessary. I think, it's also a show that's meant to have so many episodes, so you can't really just focus on Superman fighting something. You have to have other stuff, and I get that, but I just don't like it. I don't like the Cushings. And these last few episodes I've watched, they did kind of minimize what I didn't like about the Cushings. They get more integrated to the story now than they did before, where it was their own story, if that makes sense. And also, the last episode I watched had a bigger focus on the overall plot of the season, which I appreciated because I felt up until that point, we didn't really have that. And it was just all over the place. I don't even know why we were supposed to care about the villain at that point, but now I see it.
Zeddy, what do you think? What do you think about the last couple episodes of the season? The kind of your general thoughts on the season on the whole?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Chris on this one. I think the hiatus, especially, I think, has really just dampened the momentum of the show. Regardless, I think had there not been so many breaks in between episodes, I think the show might flow a little bit better. Just because there are certain things like I've forgotten actually, and it's kind of been because there's been so many breaks in between episodes. So a lot of like the plot details I've kind of forgotten, and I think the development of certain things like the villain that was supposed to be the villain of the season. There's been times where I haven't really cared so much about it because I haven't seen enough of the episodes essentially. So, it's still a good season. I don't think it's season one level, but I still think the core of who Superman is still there, and I think that's good. I think Tyler Hoechlin is still knocking it out of the park. I love Bitsy Tolik. I think the kids are even getting a little better, but I think the release schedule is kind of what needs to change. I think in order for the show to kind of sustain a more, I guess, momentum, I guess, for lack of a better term.
I think also less episodes would help too.
Yeah.
What's this one got? 18, 16?
I still think 15. So I think the finale is next week, or this week, I should say.
It's this week. They stretched out as much as they possibly could.
Yeah.
Where do you guys see it going forward? So the season finale's coming up. I think it's been renewed.
Yeah.
For season 3. So
they even have they have a director for the premiere already.
Okay. So yeah, it's one of the few CW shows that has been renewed. Where do you guys see it going forward? Chris, obviously you haven't watched the penultimate episode of this season. But the CW seemingly has been canceling most of their shows. They still have a couple left over on the DC side of things. Where do you guys see this going? Do you think it needs to be changed? Do you think I think we were talking about it the season 1 that we were hoping that it'd be pretty much more HBO Max centered, like completely. Get the that HBO Max money, better writers, that kind of thing. Where do you guys see it going for season 3? More or less the same. What are you guys expecting?
Go ahead, Chris.
You saw the episode I did.
Yeah, okay. It's a tough one because I think we're probably just gonna get more along the lines of what we're getting now. As far as like season 3 goes, I still think the preferred destination is HBO Max, just because I think it's a better look. Again, I'm not trying to knock on anything like that, but like I said, as long as the core of the character I think is still there, I think that's really all that matters. But I think as far as like quality and everything goes, it's always going to be a CW show unless it's not on the CW. So I think that's kind of where I'm at.
I think I agree with that, but if they move it to HBO Max, I kind of wonder. First of all, I think the seasons will be shorter. I think that's like a guarantee. Yeah. We're looking at probably 8 to 12 episodes per season, which will probably be better. I think the budget, of course, will go up. What I'm wondering is, will they change some of the core about the series? Like, what if they decide to move him back to Metropolis, or split the episodes where he is spending more time in Metropolis? Because realistically, I think the reason they're keeping Superman and Lois around is because we don't have Superman in a theater right now. I think that is what has saved Superman and Lois. There's nothing to fall back on. So with that in mind, maybe they're going to try to bridge that gap and say, okay, well, Now Tyler's Superman is in Metropolis. So if we don't have a Superman on screen, and the continued period of time we have now, like, okay, we still have this guy, and he's awesome. I don't really know anybody who doesn't like Tyler's Superman now. If you watch him from like the crossovers and stuff, he's a little different. This version of him, the Superman Lois version, is fantastic. He's super.
Agreed.
Simple terms. He's super.
I like simple. I'm simple.
Yeah. So, yeah. I like simple. I'm simple. Very good.
Simple and super. Love it.
Simply super.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Chris? What'd you watch this week?
It's kind of funny. I didn't really have time to breathe again this week. I watched the first 30 minutes of The Worst Person in the World. I enjoyed the first 30 minutes of it. I did watch it's not a new Bond film, but I watched For Your Eyes Only. That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you guys ever you put on a movie and feel like, okay, I'm just going to do my stuff that's on the background and you ignore it? I did it last night. I ended up watching the entirety of Duplex with Ben Stiller and Drew Barrymore. Have you guys watched that before?
Haven't seen that one.
That's a great one to do stuff in the background in.
Yeah, I remember I saw it. I was like, okay, that's funny. And it was on HBO Max. Okay, I'll just put this on. I'll do what I got to do. I ended up watching the whole damn thing. And it was like I'd never seen it before, even though I have, and I was just sucked into it. And it was a good time. I recommend it. Duplex is fun. Also, the ending, I mean, it's kind of, you see it coming, but it's a good time. It's a comedy. So.
Yeah, I was going to say rom-com. Sign Chris up. Rom-com all day, every day.
It's not a rom-com. It's directed by Danny DeVito, first of all. That's automatic.
Really?
Yeah, Danny DeVito's the director, and he narrates.
I didn't know that. Oh.
Yeah, he narrates he bookends the opening and the ending. He's the narrator. But it's not really a rom-com. It's more like a comedy about a.
If it's a rom-com, it's a very dark rom-com.
Actually, it does say dark comedy in the description on HBO.
Yeah.
So there you go. Dark rom-com, if you will. By the way, yes, sign me up. You are correct. So I watched.
That's with Danny DeVito, and he did the opening or narrated, I think, Matilda, which he also directed.
He directed Matilda?
I'm pretty sure he did.
I didn't know that.
Because he and his, I think that's his wife.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I think that is his wife. Is she the SNL?
Rita Pullman or something?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I gotta have to look that up. Director.
Oh, Matthew said he did direct it.
He did direct it. Yeah, there you go. He did.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he narrates that too.
Pizza was the better. No. That's just no. We're not doing that today.
Technical foul.
Yeah, put it up. Put it up, Chris. Go on.
No, I get it. Matthew's a big fan of that movie. It's cool.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
But he's kind of a fun director because he doesn't do a lot. I didn't even know he directed Matilda, I guess. But when it's his film, there's like a stamp on it, I think. Mm-hmm. And it was just fun. I don't know. I like it. I watched that, and then I didn't really read much. Mm-hmm. I think the highlight was probably Moon Knight, which is expected by everybody. It's good.
Yeah, I actually read. Was it? I think it was the one this week where there was a big reveal at the end of the issue this week. Chris,
yeah,
was that the one?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think just judging by that one page, maybe some of the MCU Moon Knight has bled into the comic. And I don't know. We'll see.
See what happens next month, eh?
Yeah, we'll see what happens next month. I'm excited, but we'll see what happens. I'm easy to please. So.
Yeah, that's true. Do we want to talk about the Kenobi finale, Chris? We've been keeping up on it here on the show pretty much regularly. Zeddy, I'm sure you guys are going to be talking about it on your Vigilante 1939 show. But maybe we'll just get a head start on it here. What's the season finale? And I think it was Chris, you asked in our group chat that we were talking about, and expectations kind of thing, final thoughts, that kind of thing. Well, what'd you think of the season finale? Maybe the series finale, not really sure. of Kenobi. What'd you think?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sorry, did you ask me or Zeddy?
No, go
I
ahead.
zoned out. I heard Kenobi.
I don't. Yeah, I started the question and I forgot who I was asking.
Go ahead,
it to,
Chris.
so
No.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, go for it.
I enjoyed it. Zeddy, go ahead.
Oh Jesus, yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. So I thought the finale was beautiful. I thought it was incredible. I think the moments definitely in the finale are a Star Wars fan's dream. I think the show or the series itself was a bit incoherent. I think there's a lot that I think they were going for that maybe, I don't know, maybe I just missed the mark on. I think maybe they thought they were telling a different story that we were going to react to a little bit differently. But I just didn't quite jive with everything else that came before the finale. You know, I thought the premiere was okay. I think episode 3, aside from the finale, is still the best episode of the series. I think it's incredibly awesome that we had a series that had Darth Vader in it for all 6 episodes. I said that first and foremost. It was great to see Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh, that's coming. Don't worry. That's coming. And I think the takeaway is that I'm glad that the show still happened. I'm glad that Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen still came back. And hopefully Hayden Christensen feels vindicated that he's finally beloved by Star Wars fans, because I think that's the overall takeaway. But the show itself, I wish was a little bit better, to be quite honest. But that's just me.
That's fair.
Chris, do you want to expand on some of your thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love
get my red lightsaber.
If I had one, yeah. I love the. I love the finale myself. I thought it was really good. I agree that the show tried to do a lot. It really tried to expand the world, but I don't think there was enough time to do it, or they didn't give themselves enough time. And I said this before. I think it really should have just been a 2.5-hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I like what we got out of it. I thought Reva's a really good character. I'm glad we got to see more of her and understand her better. Of course, all the stuff Obi-Wan was great, but there was just some things that should have been tightened, or maybe not even in the series. I don't know. But that final episode had some of the, I think Phil said it too here, some of the best Star Wars, and I agree with him.
Yep.
The finale has some of the best Star Wars scenario sequences, however you want to say it, that we've seen, period. Especially the Obi-Wan Vader rematch, or whatever you want to call it. That was great. I'm assuming everybody's seen it in the comments, but I'm not going to spoil anything. But there was a moment where toward the end of the duel, you just get that conversation, and it was written, in my opinion, so well, and it really just hit for a Star Wars fan, I think. Like, I love that. The show could have all its flaws. It could, some of the episodes aren't great, but as far as I'm concerned, 3 and what was it, episode 6, I guess it's found, 3 and 6 are spectacular.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much all on the same page, and I've been saying it since, I don't know, maybe the first 2 episodes that was dropped. It's just a show of really good moments.
Yep.
There's moments in every single episode where you're like, wow, like that happened and it was awesome. But then there's other moments where it's just like very confusing story choices, very confusing character choices, story beats where some of them are very strange, whether it be with the Inquisitor or with Reva, or even stuff that Darth Vader does, or Obi-Wan does, or Leia does.
Constantly saving Leia.
Yeah, constantly. And her just not doing anything for the last, I don't know, what was it, 3 episodes? She didn't do much, barely anything at all. But the moments, and that one moment there's 2 moments in the final episode, the one at the end of the duel, and then the one with Obi-Wan and Leia.
Oh, where, the one Grabs is talking about.
Yeah, like, and he's right. Like that, both of those scenes are equal. I think are flip a coin for whichever one's the best in the entire series. But it's a really weird thing to make a show based off of something that the writers want to see. They're like, okay, let's make a TV show based on wanting to see Obi-Wan and Vader fight again, and then let's make the show around it somehow. We'll add in characters, we'll add in some kind of story beats, but the general sense, consensus and major plot point of the entirety of, I think, of making the show was about seeing Vader and Obi-Wan fight again. So I think that's why we get those weird moments, because they didn't start with a story first. They didn't say, let's tell a story. They was okay. Let's have a cool moment. That's what our show is going to be about. And it turns out in that final episode, there were two great moments, some of the best Star Wars moments, that we've seen. And, I agree with everybody in the comments. I agree with everybody who was saying, I'm just not thinking, of rewatchability. I don't see myself rewatching this. I don't see myself going back to it. I don't see myself thinking about it very much. There's nothing that left me. I guess there was a sense of wanting more, and they basically teased that at the end of the episode of, there's more to come, or there could be more. But no, I don't want more of that show. I want, something different. I would like a more cohesive story in general. But, I haven't thought about it since I watched it. And that pretty much went the same for every episode as I watched it. There's just something that didn't quite click for me as much as I was going to hope, and as much as I think everyone would have hoped. And I think it comes down to what we've been saying. I think Chris, you said it, Zeddy, you said it. A lot of people have said it. They should have just made a movie. They should have been a Disney Plus movie if you wanted it to be. If you put it out in theaters, people would have saw it, and it would have been gangbusters. Just different. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot, actually, because I think you're right. I think they had to string moments together to get us where they knew we wanted to be and where they wanted the story to go, which was that confrontation. And that could have been done better. And then when you talk about rewatchability, for me, like, I will go back and watch episode 3 and episode 6 and maybe 5, because I did enjoy 5, but 3 and 6 are where I will go back to. That's probably it, though. I think as far as the Star Wars series goes, Mandalorian is still king, but Obi-Wan is a really close second for me.
Great.
Yeah. What else? Zeddy, did you read anything this week?
I haven't read anything this week, but I do have some stuff on my stack. I gotta catch up on Beyond the White Knight and Batman Beyond Neo Year, which is sitting right behind me. Sorry. Yes.
Nice.
Pam, there it is. It was missing from your background for a second. I didn't see the Batman Beyond.
It's there.
Oh yeah, Emmett.
I almost took it
display
down.
is looking really, really shiny this week. I gotta say, yeah. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, the logo covered it, but when I put the comment up, I noticed it.
Yeah.
Herogasm. Did you guys watch this?
Oh,
I haven't watched the newest episode of The Boys yet. I might watch it tonight just because I really want to get to it and see what this is all about.
Zeddy, did you watch it?
Have you keep it up on The Boys, Zeddy?
yeah, I've seen it. It definitely lives up to the hype.
Okay, good.
If you ask me, yeah, it's violent. I'll tell you that much. I don't want to get into spoilers or anything. It's a very violent episode. Stuff definitely picks up in this one. So if you're gonna watch an episode of The Boys, this is the one for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. PG-13. Flip that PG-16 more like.
Is it UK ratings? I'm not sure about this one. I don't even know what the episode's about, so the comments kind of got me. I don't know.
From what I understand, Herogasm is like a one day of the year. It's like a convention for superheroes, soups in this world where they can do whatever they want.
So like the
one way to put it.
Superheroes.
Yeah, but like the superheroes in this world are perverted, they're violent, they're terrible people. So, yeah.
I think when you put hero and gasm together, I think that's all we need to do. My
yeah, I don't know much about the show. I'm not too familiar. I've seen like the first 5 episodes.
Yeah, the sneeze, Cookie. I talked about that last week. I think about the sneeze inside the guy's urethra. Yeah, that was something else. Oof. Oh man.
Yeah, that kind of makes me want to watch it just for that.
Speaking of shows you should watch, Chris, and this is a show Zeddy and I have talked about, is Barry on HBO. The season finale was 2 weeks ago, Zeddy, maybe, or last week. I can't remember. I just finished it. I think it was whatever day this is, Thursday. Chris, you would love this show. Bill Hader has taken quite the trajectory after leaving SNL. And I think he's probably one of the best at getting away from what people expect of people who are on SNL. They expect goofy, all comedian all the time. But Barry is both funny, both emotional, both action packed. Chris, you should, put aside the list of things that you have to watch, and you should put Barry on the top of your list. It's only a half hour per episode. There's 3 seasons. Exactly. It's a very easy to watch show in terms of the shortness, but it's also not very easy to watch because of how emotional the show can be. Specifically this season, Zeddy, if you want to talk a little bit about it, this was quite the emotional season on lots of different fronts. On Barry's front, on NoHo Hank's front, on Sally's front, on Jean's front. Zeddy, what did you think about this season of Barry?
Yeah, this was as far as the acting and the writing goes, I was really, really impressed with it, to be quite honest. I think Bill Hader directed most, if not all of the. I don't think he directed all of them, but I think he directed most of them. And just like his direction, I was very, very impressed with some of the action sequences that he pulls off. Especially like some of the endings were like jaw-dropping at best. But yeah, a lot of the characters get really, really great moments too, which I really appreciate. Like Sally gets a really, really great moment or two. Barry gets. Oh my god, that would have been something. But yeah, it's like Barry in season 1 is like a character you're not really supposed to like. He's kind of a character that you maybe want to root for eventually, but then in season 2 you kind of actually do want to root for him because the tide is kind of starting to turn with all the characters. Some characters are going for the better and some are going for the worse. So it's just a really great written show about just characters. And I think, if you like dark comedies, but you like Emmet said, with an emotional twist to it, I think this is the one for you. And we've said it before. Nobody does comedies, just shows in general like HBO does. So,
it's about a hitman, right?
Yes. It's like it's a hitman that wants to become an actor, and then things just go sideways from there, and then he gets roped back into being a hitman, and then it's just it's like it's crazy. You gotta watch it.
I've heard it compared to Gross Point Blank, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a good comparison or not.
I never saw it.
It's great.
Yeah, John Cusack is in there, right?
Yeah, John Cusack, Jeremy Piven, Dan Aykroyd's in it.
Weird.
Mini Driver. I think that's the main cast. That's enough people, really. That's a big cast.
I was gonna say you kept going there. I was like, wait a second. There's more people in it.
Those 4 are enough. It's a great film.
Just the 4 heavy hitters.
Yeah, that's all you need, really. I mean, Dan Aykroyd and John Cusack kind of sell it right there.
That's true.
It's like the TV version of Get Shorty.
That's an interesting one. Yeah.
I like Get Shorty. And the sequel, which nobody else seems to.
Yeah, what's that one called?
I was going to say it's called Too Short, but it's not.
Get Shorter? No,
that's not what it's called.
that would be a great guess, though, wouldn't it?
Get Shorty Again.
Yeah, that's right. Get Shortier.
I don't know what it's. Let's see. For some reason, I just remembered that I watched My Cousin Vinny also.
It's called Be Cool.
That's it.
Weird.
Interesting.
It was horrible. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, but Chris, you're easy to please.
I am, though. I am.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing.
It really doesn't take much. The Birdcage is a classic, yes.
Oh, that is, literally a classic. That's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. And it all comes down to one scene. Is when Robin Williams and Nathan Lane are having lunch, and he's trying to teach Nathan Lane how to be straight. He's got his pinky up and smear. Yeah.
I've recently been saying that, and I forgot what has possessed me. But I've been saying that when I eat men's smear. I forgot why. that like Birdcage and My Cousin Vinny are 2 movies I quote a lot in life.
Oh yeah, of course. Come on.
Do you guys love quoting? You love quoting movies or TV shows, and people have no idea what you're talking about. That's a lot of fun for me.
Hey, there's nothing like quoting The Dark Knight in public, man. Come on.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Knows
And
that.
then people look at you like, "What is that guy talking about?"
The Dark Knight has life lessons, so I get it.
Remember,
Life lessons.
It has life lessons. So what was the
Something
movie
about it?
Yeah, what
Isn't
was
that
about
the
a
one
dog you were
with
thinking?
Sam Rockwell's in it? Christopher Walken's in it.
Seven Psychopaths?
Yeah, is that the one with a dog?
I don't know.
I think it was Seven Psychopaths. I think so.
I've seen Seven Psychopaths.
Or
don't
Dirty
remember.
Work. Is that what she's thinking about? With
Oh,
the
that's
guy,
with
he's
Norm
got a-
Macdonald.
Yeah, and what's his name? The
no,
bad
actually,
guy,
I think it's Seven
got his finger up
Psychopaths.
their butt.
Yeah, it's Seven Psychopaths, I think.
I think Seven Psychopaths. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Today's lesson is brought to you by Harvey
The
Dent.
penguin himself is in it too.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
right.
he
Colin
is.
Farrell. That's right.
Ah,
Today's lesson is
Ozzy.
don't flip coins.
Dog barking something or other. Yeah.
Summer of
remember,
Sam.
we have a 50-50 shot of getting the movie right.
Yeah, he
There
makes
you
his
go.
own luck. He makes his own luck.
Well, if we're talking about dogs barking in movies, I think we're talking about Summer of Sam.
I was gonna say that's like every other movie in Hollywood is a dog barking. You know,
No, I she's on to something. I just can't remember what the movie's called.
I think it's Seven Psychopaths.
Yeah, Seven Psychopaths. Pretty sure it
Yeah.
has something to do with a dog.
I haven't seen that in a long time. I remember liking it though. Stuff like that, or like, have you guys ever watched Very Bad Things with just a giant cast? Christian Slater, Daniel Stern is in it. Jeremy Piven is all. It's a
No, I haven't
huge
seen
cast.
that
Like, oh, okay, that's one of those comedies that it's a dark comedy, so it slips through the cracks. Nobody really talks about it. Be Cool is the reason I can't take him. Yeah, Grabs isn't wrong. The Rock and Be Cool is pretty different. I think that's when he was like, I don't want to do action anymore. Let me do something else.
Oof.
It did Be Cool. So,
Have you seen the Tooth Fairy? Come on now. Jeez.
I
Come
have,
on.
and I don't mind it. I also like Game Plan.
Look, yeah, it's a charming movie. You
It
know,
is.
just,
It's
you know.
fun. I mean, and The
Yeah.
Rock sings in it. He, that's cool. He does an Elvis song.
He does.
Yes, the Dead Hooker movie. Oh, Wag the Dog. Yeah, that's all.
Isn't
That's
that a
actually,
Wag the
movie?
dog. Okay.
that's with Dustin Hoffman and who else?
Robert De Niro, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. I remember I saw it in theaters as a kid, and I was like, "Oh, this is good."
I thought it was Robert De Niro.
Very Bad Things is fantastic.
Yeah,
The
Robert De
Rundown
Niro.
is okay too,
yeah.
but it's the Game Plan, guys,
Yeah, there you go.
or the Tooth Fairy.
We don't have many options here.
Maybe it's Rampage.
There you go.
Maybe it's Jumanji.
I love
don't know.
Rampage.
I do too.
What's next? The Scorpion King?
No, never.
Oh, come on.
You know what, Zeddy?
Technical foul.
It's a technical foul.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
What else did anybody get up this week they want to chat about? Anything in the news that caught their eye that they want to talk about?
Did anybody read Bloodstained Teeth?
I caught Chris yelled at me before the show started that I hadn't read
I
this.
didn't yell. I just asked, "Hey, did you see it?"
You don't know what he's like when he's not on the show, guys. Chris is the worst. He's always on me and yelling at me.
He didn't yell. He just raised his voice in a higher
A
pitched
little
manner.
bit,
You know?
just a little bit, higher octane or something.
So I read very quickly before the show started. I read issues number 2 and issues 3 of Bloodstained Teeth. Chris, we talked about. I think we talked about Bloodstained Teeth 1. It would have been 3 months ago when the first one came out. We were both big fans of it. I just didn't catch up on it. You've been keeping up on it. So what'd you think? Yeah, exactly. Juan, exactly. Aaron, he's
come
right.
on,
Exactly.
You know what?
Yeah. It's staying up for the rest of the show.
Start calling him
This is all-
Chris Bale now. Chris
It's all a
Cruz.
technical file. You're a nice guy. I like working with you, but you're a nice guy.
Yeah.
Instead of Chris Evans, Chris Cruz.
Cruz.
The law. He lays down the law here, man.
Yeah,
There you go.
I mean he's pretty cool too.
There you
But-
yes. Oh yes. Tom Cruise is the coolest. Let me tell you.
Yes. Everybody should read Bloodstained Teeth. It's awesome. It's a fun
That's it?
story. It's a
Come
fun
on, man.
story.
You brought it up. Let's talk about it. Come
I just
on.
want to know if anybody read it. It's a fun story. That, and I've talked about this before, but I love the art in it because it's different than what I normally see. And now this last issue, though, this is what I was actually thinking earlier. I kind of want to see this as a movie or a series.
I thought that exact same thing. That I don't know if it, like an animated one would you like to see or a live action one?
No, I want to see like a live action. What is going on?
I'm skipping on air, man.
In a way too sensual way.
I like how casual he just did that.
Professionalism, you gotta love it.
Yeah, I'd like to see. I want to see it live action, but I want to see a director like Baz Luhrmann, who I know is out of the question, or Denis Villeneuve, somebody like that, do this, where it would have a lot of style to it because the book has so much style, which you don't see a lot in comics. Not like this.
I agree. So for anyone who hasn't read it, it's a story about a vampire who gets paid to turn humans into vampires, and like the council of vampires, doesn't like that. So then he's told that he has to kill all the vampires that he's made, or he will then be killed himself. So each issue so far, 2 and 3 is about issue 2 is about one vampire that he turned. He has to kill him, and issue 3 is about the same thing. I like the idea of a TV show, each episode being
each chapter or something.
Yeah, and I wonder about like having different directors direct each episode.
I don't know.
Kind of like Mandalorian, where not every it's not the same guy all the way through. So it would be tough. I want to say they could bring their own style to it, but the style of the book with its coloring and its art is kind of a huge selling point of the book. So having it changed and, one made, for, Baz Luhrmann style or Denis Villeneuve style, something like that might be too
Robert Rodriguez.
Different. Yeah, exactly. So like having a straight tone style for the tone would be good, but I wonder about, making it more or less like an anthology type of thing. Like this is the story about Atticus killing this vampire, and this is the story about Atticus killing that vampire. But I agree, Chris. Especially after reading, I liked issue 2 more than I liked issue 3. But it's a very fun series to read. The characters are so friggin' interesting.
Yeah, everybody should check it out. It's pretty cool. It's something different. It's probably different than anything else. I would say it's different than a lot of stuff on shelves right now. But there's other stuff like I have to get to the newest issue of I Hate It Here that came out this week. But I wasn't really huge on the first issue. Yeah. I like the concept of it more than the execution, if that makes sense. And then there's a bunch of X-Men stuff I gotta get to. But I still think Bloodstained Teeth really is it's different than a lot of other stuff. That's worth checking out.
Yeah, I didn't pick up the single issues. I think this will be one that I pick up in trade for sure. The art is just so nice to look at, color wise. It actually seemed like it's the neon. The color is toned down a bit from that first issue. I just remember that first issue. It felt like every page you would turn, or every panel was just like a blinding light of neon. It feels like it's turned down a little bit for the following 2 issues, but the style is still there.
It was like a color bomb in that first issue. Stay away from Hickman unless you like maps.
Yeah. You need a grid and a graph to understand.
I gotta take notes to remember stuff. And then they have those prose pages. Like I don't want to read this. I want to read comics. I want to see the pictures. I need the funny pictures to go with my words.
The funny pictures to go with my words.
I want a comic, not a novel.
Right.
There you go.
I'm a simple guy.
Yes.
How do you enjoy the passageway?
Yeah, so the passageway, I guess technically the second entry into the Bone Orchard mythos from Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. I liked it a lot. Something about Lemire and Creepy specifically sells for me. I know Grabs, you're not the biggest fan of his Gideon Falls run, but I find this very much like that. Obviously, the artist is exactly the same, both in pencils with Sorrentino and the colors from Dave Stewart. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Passageway, and I actually can't wait. I'm actually more excited for what comes next, which is the 10,000 Black Feathers. Which, Chris, you sent me a variant cover for that. I think it was just a couple of days ago from Christian Ward, the writer of Bloodstained Teeth. So I think you can actually order 10,000 Black Feathers from your local comic shop right now, and I will be doing that for sure. I just don't know which cover to get because there's so many variants, and the artist on the variants are also very, very good. Yeah, so I was excited about it. I love the format. I'm a big fan of the graphic novel format. Brubaker and Sean Phillips are doing it with their Reckless series, which I just got the newest one of that one as well. I can't remember what it's called. The Ghost in You, which was just released a few months ago. Yeah, and I was talking about it with Chris, and Zeddy, you can talk about it too. Single issues versus collected. The variant covers for 10,000 Black Feathers are going to be so great, but I love this idea about, one book covering the 96 pages or whatever it is, 60 pages, released in that format too. It's such a weird thing to do. Chris, what would you rather? Like in 10,000, so if the Passageway is one graphic novel, 96 pages, but then the next series in the same storyline, more or less, is released in single issue form, would you just wait for the collected so you can have two books beside each other? I don't know. I think we've kind of talked about this in one of our polls that we did, how we read things, how we collect things.
I'd rather, at that point, if I already have one collected, I'd want the other one collected. That's kind of the way I would look at it. Because it's kind of like we can binge a series before the new season, and then when the new season comes, we're annoyed because we got to wait week by week. This would be waiting month by month, so I'll pass on that. Zeddy?
Yeah, Zeddy, I know you a while ago. I know you bought a bunch of big omnibuses for a while, but I know you've bought some single issues of stuff. I know you're a big fan of the Robin and Batman series from Lemire. How do you like to read your stuff? The stuff that you do read. I know you're not a big stack guy. You're not reading like Chris, where he's got a stack 10 miles high that he never gets to. But I think you read a few comics here and there. How would you rather read your stuff, collected or in single issue form?
Yeah, so I'm it's funny because like when I was like really, really younger, like starting off, I was a single issue guy because I think it was just the the hype and anticipation and the excitement of just getting a new comic each and every week. Whereas I think now that I'm older, I think I prefer more collected issues or collect my books in a collected format, just because I think it's not just like having everything in one place, but I think it's more like I think the stories are just a little bit better. It's like everything's all in one place. I don't have to go over, to my other shelf and get another book if I really need to. I think it's kind of just time consuming too. Like I was a big fan of the Son of Kal-El run, and I kind of still am a little bit, but I've kind of dipped out, to be quite honest, because it's just I don't really have the time like I used to, and it's just the fact that it's ongoing. It's so hard to keep like your interest level. I think like that. When a run is just ongoing that versus something that's just 3 issues or 6 issues. It's I think it's more manageable too. I think it's kind of what it all comes down to. Can you manage that? Because there's nothing wrong with buying single issues. Like I'm definitely all for it. Like support the comic shops, do all you want. But I think it just comes down to, do you have the time and do you want to put the investment in at the end of the day?
That's a perfect way to say it.
Yeah, I mentioned this to Chris. I think it was a couple days ago that I got my hardcover of Son of Kal-El, the first volume, and just reading it again, back to back, issue after issue, really helps that read as well. Damn fine story. Yeah, and I can't wait for the second hardcover just so I can keep getting caught up. And it makes me reading this hardcover, the first volume, makes me want to get caught up so then I can keep going with those singles. Reading comics makes me want to read more comics.
That's the sign of good comics, though.
Yeah, I agree with you
Yeah.
100%. Do you guys want to talk about Miss Marvel at all? Issue or episode 3 came out this week. We get, you know, something about it bothers me, but then lots of it really excites me about this show. We got more history, we got more lore, I wish they should say. Um, I don't know, something about the main central issue in this series isn't hitting for me. Like it's a great fun TV show, but I wonder if I would be watching this if it wasn't Miss Marvel. Like as charming as feel good as the story is, as great as the actress who's playing Kamala Khan is, and she's outstanding. As great as some of the choreography in episode 3 specifically with there's a little like Bollywood dance scene at a wedding. Great stuff. But then there's the stuff with the Department of Damage Control. There's the stuff about the Jinn. There's stuff about Kamala's Nani, and that stuff it's not syncing together for me just yet. Chris, what are your thoughts on Miss Marvel so far, up to episode 3?
I'm enjoying it a lot. It's funny. I've said before I'm not a huge Miss Marvel fan just because I don't know the character very well. She normally does is it's kind of jarring, because this is, as far as I know, very different from Miss Marvel with the Jinn and stuff.
Yeah.
But that said, I'm enjoying it for what it is, and I usually when the MCU takes a character I'm not very familiar with and they do something with them, I'm generally on board because it's all new to me anyway. Like Shang-Chi or I didn't know a lot about Ant-Man before the movie. And I don't think any of us really knew a lot about Iron Man. And I think that's when the MCU really excels, when they take characters we don't know, characters we're not familiar with. I think is a pretty good example of that. And we talked about it before. I like the way that they're weaving the culture into it, and it just giving you something different to watch and to consume instead of the standard superhero story that we would normally see.
Zeddy, what do you think?
Yeah, the thing about the show is it's so fresh and like unique and I guess organic.
I'm sorry.
sorry, Grams.
I'm sorry.
he doesn't mean no harm. Don't worry.
No harm.
Yeah, it feels like so fresh, unique, and just organic. I guess because it is an organic origin story, but it is very different because it is a character and actress that's quite younger than typical hero stories that we get in the MCU. So I think it's told through a different lens as well. It is a very self-contained story about family. I think I will say, I think the part that you're talking about, Emmett, I think I might agree with a little bit too, just in terms of I think it's the twist that maybe you're referring to, is that the twist is so personal. I think maybe it's, I'll put it this way. I didn't expect it, to be quite honest. I think when you introduce a twist like that and you go one way with it, I think it's not your typical villain in the MCU, right? Like this isn't like Kang or Loki or anything like that, right? It's a twist coming that is essentially just somebody that's after her power, and it happens to be her family. Like her family wants her dead. Oh, right? like who would have expected that? So it's a different story. I'll say that. Am I invested in it? Yes. I think she's outstanding, like you said. I mean, I think that's the takeaway of the whole series, is that regardless of the quality of the show, which I think is strong, I think she's the best part of the show, and I think that's the best part of things, that we like her.
It's interesting. You need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, and we're saying that, and that's what a lot of people said about Moon Knight too. The show may be messy. It was this or this that. We can't deny Oscar Isaac was absolutely incredible in the show. Zeddy, I agree with you about the central threat about her family wanting her powers or whatever. Because I spent the first two episodes wondering, okay, well, what's the conflict here? She's a girl, she's got powers, and she's learning how to use them. Where is the threat? Like, who's the big bad? And then for episode 3, it's like, okay, there they are, and let's get right into it and not waste any time. And there's I thought the fight scene was quite lame in this episode. Specifically, that like the henchmen who didn't speak for some reason, they kind of just walk around and lurk in the kitchen, like it was like there were dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. And it's like it's just I thought it was very strange. They were just kind of walking around and lurking, and something about I don't know why she's so good at beating these goons. She's trained by herself. I know, Chris, we talked about this, and you mentioned it about her powers. I don't understand how they work. I don't understand why she knows how to use them. Maybe that'll change, but again, the show is so incredibly charming. The actress who plays Kamala Khan is so incredibly charming. It's funny. It's very heartwarming. Like the wedding scene, I thought it was really great with Kamala's brother, where he's worried about money. And there's the scene where before the wedding, it's like the wedding rehearsal, and Kamala's sitting outside, and she's asking the, I don't know, for lack of a very bad term, priest, but I'm not sure what it is in the Pakistani culture, where how do you be good? There's a lot of great moments. I just wonder about it feels like a very good, well-written coming of age story in the MCU with a superhero in it, which is not a bad thing at all. That's absolutely a cool thing. I'm just waiting for more of a central conflict. I'm waiting for more of the superhero-y stuff, because that's what it is. It's Miss Marvel. It's the MCU. But yeah, I'm watching it every week, having a great time watching it. Iman, thank you, Eric. So we'll keep going with it. I'm not sure how many. I think there's only 6 episodes.
Probably 6 seems to be the new standard.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder when they're going to change that, because everyone's seemingly complaining about episode season.
They're too long. Now they're too short.
Whether it's Star Wars or MCU.
It's probably going to vary character to character. That's my guess. Like I would imagine the more popular characters are going to get longer seasons. Like, was it Loki longer than Hawkeye?
Was Loki 7?
Loki was like 7 or 8, I think. I want to say Hawkeye was 6.
Because I think WandaVision was 9 and Mandalorian has gotten 8, I think, typically. Okay.
Yeah, so
it
might vary on popularity.
Maybe.
Which means next season of Moon Knight should be 12. I'm just saying.
12 glorious episodes, eh, Chris?
12, yes, with a different team, perhaps.
Ooh. All right, guys, so that's what we watched, what we read, what we got up to this week. Let's get into a little bit of, isn't She-Hulk have a heap?
Yeah, She-Hulk, I think, is going to be a longer series, too. I believe Zeddy wants to talk about something.
I want to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
I'm going to give you 1 minute and 30 seconds to talk about Top Gun Maverick, and your time starts right now.
But I'm not ready. Okay, look, here's the thing, guys. Top Gun Maverick is officially the highest grossing movie of 2022, and what a convenient that it happens to be on the show that I'm on right now that I get to announce that. Wow, my number 1 movie of 2022. Yes, I am saying that. There you go. Look, I think it's just the perfect movie of this year, to be perfectly blunt. This movie has everything that I think you need and that you look for in a movie. I've seen it 4 times. I just saw it in IMAX last night. Yes, I've seen it 4 times, right? And the crowd has been into it every single time. This thing has made boatloads of money. And I'm just happy for I'm happy that Tom Cruise finally gets his $1 billion movie, which is unreal that this is his first $1 billion movie that he's had in his whole career, and it happens to be a sequel to one of the movies that put him on the map. So I'm just happy all around, and if you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend it because I think you're gonna love it. Was that 1 minute and 30 seconds?
I lost count. I was too busy having good fun. Zeddy, so you pretty much championed this movie being popular, being well liked by everyone who went to see it. You predicted that people would love it. Chris, did you expect people to love this movie as much as they are? Did you expect it to make $1 billion?
No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. But I saw the enthusiasm for it, And I know a lot of people say, well, it's just old fans seeing it, but that's not the case with this movie. It's not the case at all. I think this movie is appealing to everybody. Everybody wants to see Top Gun, and also everybody loves Tom Cruise. Or the majority of movie-going fans love Tom Cruise. I saw this TikTok. I think I sent it to Zeddy. It was like a 90-year-old woman who hadn't been to a theater in, I think she said 18 years. Couldn't even remember the last movie she saw in the theater. She went to go see Top Gun Maverick in IMAX. So this movie has a giant reach. And it's not even because the original is so good, because I mean I enjoyed the original when I watched it, but it wasn't like mind-blowing. But it's just something about this movie is hitting with people. It's hitting more than Jurassic World did. You know, I loved Jurassic World Dominion when I saw it the other night. I thought it was great. But it apparently Top Gun is the juggernaut right now. You can't stop it.
Zeddy, do you have simple terms of why this movie is the phenomena that it is? Is it because of the nostalgia? Is it because I haven't seen it, but so and Chris mentioned Jurassic World. So is it like Jurassic World or like the Fast and the Furious, where you say the movie's not good, but people like it? Or is Top Gun Maverick a good? And you've mentioned Best Picture. Is Top Gun Maverick an actual good movie? Or is it the goofy movie like a Fast and the Furious, like Jurassic World is, but people love it anyways?
Yeah, no, I just think it's an actual good movie, to be quite honest. I think, you know, it utilizes nostalgia perfectly, in my opinion, meaning that, you know, it gives you all the right callbacks to the first movie, and it doesn't force them upon the sequel in a way. Like, there's just really great moments, there's payoffs. I think the story is really, really great. I think it's the action sequences too that are really accessible. All the flying aircraft sequences are incredible in IMAX and Dolby Cinema. But it's just really, really accessible too. You know, I think that's kind of the takeaway of the whole thing, is that, you know, it has the emotion, it has Tom Cruise, it has actors that you like, and it has just, I think, you know, and it doesn't even force like military propaganda upon you too, which is I think maybe a thing of concern that might have been on some people. So it just and you know what, and to be quite honest, this isn't a sport. There's not even a real villain in the movie. So essentially you're watching a movie that has just good characters in it. So just kudos to that. So yeah, I think it's just a fully accessible movie that's just hitting all the right beats. And you know what? I'm sorry to keep rambling here, but you know, it's like I go in the theater and it's like, you know, the first thing that plays before the movie is like a thank you message from Tom Cruise. And I think, you know, once you did that, you kind of just set the tone for the rest of the way forward, you know.
Does that play before any screenings, Eddie, or is it just like IMAX or Dolby?
No, so you know what? It plays before every screening. I thought it was just like the early screening that, you know, like when you go to an investor early screening, whatever, sometimes they do that. No, it literally plays before every screening that you go see. So I think that's awesome too.
So what's better, that or the Nicole Kidman AMC opening?
I will take Tom Cruise thanking me over Nicole Kidman telling me that heartbreak feels good in a place like this any day of the week. Sorry.
Fair.
I love you, Nicole, but come on now.
Phil Walsh has a great point here. Movies are back and theaters are thriving. This makes me really happy. As a theater guy, I love this because, you know, a couple years ago when everybody was really down on it saying theaters aren't going to last, they're going to close them all down. We're just going to watch movies at home from now. I was like, I don't want to do that. I like theaters. So, yeah, I love that they're back. And Top Gun, it's not a comic movie. It is a sequel, like a legacy sequel, but there's so much time in between, I don't think it even really matters. So it's just cool.
Yep.
Grabs has a question for you. Or is that
okay. He's in the movie. I'll say that much. Yes, he is in the movie. Like fully Val Kilmer. I'll say that much. I won't go into how deep, but I will say the scene that he is in is very, very effective and it's very emotional. That's all I'll say.
Interesting.
Yes.
All right, so that's Zeddy's little rant about Top Gun Maverick, and I as much as I don't care about box office, that kind of thing, I think it's pretty fascinating that this movie is doing so well. But aside from that, like you're saying, Zeddy, you've said on Twitter, you expect Best Picture nominations and more as well. So I think that's pretty fascinating for a a sequel to an action movie directed by Tony Scott from 1986. So I'm cool. I can't wait to see it. But as much as you guys are huge theater guys, I am now not. So I cannot wait to watch it as soon as I possibly can.
It's not, theaters aren't for everybody.
Home.
Theaters, we've all sat in theaters where we wish that we weren't in the theater.
Well, yeah,
Zeddy started on that.
Zeddy hates theater secretly, right, Zeddy?
Listen, everybody. A movie theater is not Starbucks. If I have to repeat this for the 1,100,050% time,
that's a big number.
Okay? Yes. Look, I don't care if you think whether or not the sky is black, blue, orange, purple, lavender, whatever.
He's talking like William Shatner. Do you know?
Yes, I do not care about your sound design.
I don't know what's happening.
Yes, you do not know what's happening. I am not here to hear your sound design. I do not pay $20 for an A-list membership to hear your sound design. Okay, if you're talking louder than the movie itself on the screen, that is a problem. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I love you all.
Also, AMC has a sale right now. I think it's $7.50 monthly instead of the usual $20. Just saying.
It's like that's right. You cancel and rejoin.
You might want to, or contact AMC. You didn't hear that from me.
Yeah, you did. Cut this part out.
Right. Delete it. That's a technical file. You know what?
Put it up there.
Hey, I keep the lights on at the place.
Mm-hmm. You do.
Or I'm part of the thing that keeps the lights on.
Part of the
All right,
thing.
guys. Let's get into a little bit of science. Last week, our poll up on the Twitter account of Gathering of the Geeks. It's time to settle a debate. This debate is so important. There's no room for Batman on HBO Max. There can only be one winner this week. We just finished actually talking about Star Wars. So which franchise do you like more, Star Wars or Lord of the Rings? And I believe we're including The Hobbit in Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Obviously, Star Wars is all over TV right now, kind of taking a break from the movies. Lord of the Rings is getting its first entry into TV, upcoming here in a few months or so with Rings of Power. There's quantity, there's quality in both. But the winner of our poll was Star Wars. I don't think didn't surprise me at all. 67% of the vote, but we got some interesting comments.
Yes, we did.
First is Phil Unfiltered on Twitter. That's Philip Barker. He says there's only one return, and it ain't of the king, it's of the Jedi. Obviously, that's a Clerks 2 reference.
I wanted to play the scene, but I think we'll get copyright strike. A copyright strike will take the stream down. But if you guys have a chance, go to YouTube later and watch the Clerks 2 scene explaining Lord of the Rings. It is
very, very good. It's very good.
And we'll highlight Cookies here because she's the next person on the list. She says Star Wars has been hit or miss for me, but Lord of the Rings never disappoints. Phil Walsh is Star Wars guy. So, Chris, what do you think? There is 3 original Lord of the Rings movies. There is 3 Hobbit movies. There is 9 Star Wars movies and multiple TV shows. Does quantity outweigh quality for you sometimes? How do you get down on this poll?
For me, it's about the quality.
Okay.
Because I don't want to start an argument, but I don't
do it.
No, Chaos Grenade was last week. I'm over the Chaos Grenade. We'll do it again next time. But the prequels aren't my favorite. I don't love 2 of the 3 No. Unlimited power. So it's a tough one for me though, because I do love parts of Star Wars, and I love everything about Lord of the Rings. Like literally, I love Lord of the Rings. So for me, it's pretty hard. But I think quality over quantity is really what matters. Because you can have a lot of crap, and it doesn't do you any good. You can have one really good thing, and you prefer that.
Zeddy, how about you? Where do you land on the Star Wars versus Lord of the Rings debate?
Yeah, this is a great debate, actually. Look, so you're choosing 9 Star Wars movies over 6 Lord of the Rings movies, essentially.
Well, 9 Star Wars movies plus the series.
Yeah, plus the other TV shows. I prefer Star Wars personally, but I will say I think the three Lord of the Rings films are flawless, if not nearly perfect.
Mhm.
And essentially, you're like, the one fan base is a little more healthier than the other. I think we can all agree on
We'll
that
see.
one. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see
Well, I
what
guess
happens this fall.
we'll see in September, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I personally have leaned more Star Wars, but I think I can rewatch the Lord of the Rings movies more than the Star Wars movies. I will say.
Eric also has a thing here, and he's right. Star Wars also has games, comics, books. There's other stuff attached to Star. It's quantity.
Genre
There's
in
a
and of
lot
itself.
of stuff.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah, and like as far as I'm concerned, 50% of the Lord of the Rings stuff that we've seen on movies isn't any good. The three Hobbit movies are incredibly hard to get through.
Yes.
Whether it be the bad CGI, the stretched thin story, made into three movies, lots of reasons. But yeah, Zeddy, you said it. Those for the original three. I don't want to say the original Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King. They're basically flawless. The extended cut specifically, they're basically perfect movies as far as I'm concerned. But I found it really hard to vote in this one just because of the quantity of Star Wars. Like there's just so much. And I always think about a feeling. Like I remember, I can't remember seeing it for the first time, but I just remember the way Empire Strikes Back make me feel. The lightsaber duel between Vader and Luke, or I remember watching Return of the Jedi on a VHS, thinking at the time that was the only Star Wars movie ever when I was a kid. I didn't know what was beyond that. So something about being a kid and watching Star Wars. Obviously, The Lord of the Rings didn't come out until I was in my teens, so there's a little bit more of the growing up on Star Wars kind of thing. We'll see. The TV show for Rings of Power is going to weigh a lot into how I feel about this topic. But if I had to pick right now, I think it would be Star Wars just because of the quantity. I'm rating there's just so much in Star Wars. There's so much good too. Like there's a lot of good Star Wars. And there's a lot of okay Star Wars, and there's a little bit of bad Star Wars, I think. Whereas there's three great movies in Lord of the Rings, and I think there's three bad with the Hobbit ones. But I think the TV show, Chris, is something we're looking forward to. Zeddy, what's your hype level for the Lord of the Rings TV show that's coming out in September?
Yeah, I think it looks pretty epic. To be quite honest, I think Amazon's a streaming service that I think doesn't get nearly enough credit. I think, to be quite honest, I think their TV shows typically have been really, really great. So, and I think the fact that this is the most expensive show, I guess ever made, I think should say something. So, it's got to be good, right? And I think if you can pull something off like Game of Thrones, why can't you pull off a Lord of the Rings TV show? So we'll see. A Game of Thrones prequel show and a Lord of the Rings prequel show this year. So who's gonna win? I don't know.
It'd be really cool if they could pull off that weekly show, and if it were possible to pull off a weekly podcast about it too. That would be something.
I don't think that's possible. I don't think there's any show anywhere that would be able to cover that.
I've just heard.
What's your soul?
Potatoes.
Potatoes. We got small T's for something that gathering
of the potatoes.
Mashing of the potatoes.
And Greg grabs and you said it, Zeddy. Amazon Prime doesn't get the hype that it should. I think it's at least second, very close to the best streaming service. The quantity they put out, as well as the quality. The Boys, Paper Girls, like Grab said, is coming out at the end of July. It had Reacher, which was very good. I think we all liked that one.
Night Sky.
And it's got good TV shows, or good movies, I should say. Underrated movies. Yeah. and they own Bond now. So.
No Time to Die, now streaming.
So it's going to be interesting. This TV show is going to be really interesting because they're planning 5 seasons. They're budgeted 5 seasons. They've storyboarded 5 seasons. I think I read somewhere that they have the final scene of the final episode already planned out. Wow. So that's really interesting. I think there's a lot weighing on Rings of Power, and I think that's going to sway a lot of people. And like you said, Zeddy, there's one fan base is a little more toxic than the other. I think we'll see very soon how toxic the Lord of the Rings fan base will be when
Everybody's
we
a
see
goblin.
female orc, and when we see different races in different races. So I think it's going to be really interesting when that
Who
when
would
that
have
show comes
known that arguing over prosthetics and makeup could be so hostile and
out. I
lethal?
know.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm with Phil Walsh here. I am not
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
yeah.
I agree, because
I
it's
agree.
something, and I've been looking forward to the show as soon as they announced it, and it's going to be the same with the Game of Thrones one too, with House of Dragon. That one's just going to be, picked over way more than the original Game of Thrones series was, and specifically how the final season was. Everything's just going to be argued over and complained over. So I look forward to possibly doing something with Chris and for Gathering of the Geeks, and celebrating our hopefully our enjoyment of these shows.
Agreed.
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe.
Already
We'll see if it
backtracking.
all comes together.
If we get them out here, we'll see what's going on.
All right, guys. So that's the Twitter poll for this week. No science as of yet for this Sunday. Maybe we'll have Monday science. You can hit us up at G of the Geeks on Twitter. That's where all our poll goodness is. Anything else we want to talk about before we get on out of here, guys?
Next week is Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah, June 28th, right? Oh,
Yep.
That's in 2 days.
Yep, we're all excited for that.
Whew.
Cannot wait.
For some reason, I thought it was coming out in August, or maybe I missaw that.
I know we said that, I think, a couple shows ago. We were waiting for it. We found out we thought it was August, but no, I didn't know it's this week, though. I'm very excited.
It's so good, they bumped it up 2 months.
It might be.
There you go.
Anybody want to have a guess on who the murderer is from the trailers that we've seen? My guess is that it's Amy Schumer.
I haven't watched the trailers.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet? Zeddy, what do you think? Have you watched any of the trailers to see who's the cast of characters is in it?
That's probably a good bet, to be quite honest.
I think the other one would be Cara Delevingne. I know that she's in it as well. She's my
Amy
other
Schumer just kind of has that, sneaky vibe about it.
Exactly. Nobody likes her anyway, so she's the one.
I think that was too easy for it to be her because nobody likes her.
Yeah, that's
part 2.
That's why one throw. Yeah,
that's why it's probably the other one. What's her name?
Cara Delevingne. Yeah,
Enchantress.
Enchantress. That's right.
We prefer not to speak about that.
Are you guys watching Stranger Things 2 this week?
That's right. Next Friday or this Friday. It's coming.
Yeah,
Friday.
it comes out this Friday. I watched the part 1 with my daughter, but she's leaving for the weekend, so I won't be able to watch until she gets back. So I told her yesterday, if she watches it without me, I'm gonna murder her.
It's just the 2 or 3 episodes that what this one has.
It's only 2 episodes.
It's only 2 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, each one's I think 2
They're
hours.
like 5
long.
hours long though.
Yeah. Hey there, Bob Dace. Yeah, so I think 2 hours long each one. And it's funny. My daughter also thought that this was the series finale.
Nope, it's not.
But it's not. No, there's a whole other season coming after this.
Oh, okay.
So that's interesting. It's all. I read that they're doing a time jump too for season 5.
Actually, yeah, no, I see that actually.
Oh, this one, right?
Yeah. We can rebuild them. We have the technology.
It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I know you did last summer, Emmet.
Oh.
The one-armed man.
He's right here. What are you waiting for?
Well, there you go, Cookie. I saved you some time. That there's still a whole nother season after this.
There you go.
All right, guys, let's get on out of here. Zeddy, hit us up with some plugs, man. Hit us up with all the vigilante, all the Zeddy goodness.
All the Zeddy goodness. Thank you guys as always. It was great to be back at the table of plenty here. The table of geeks. Thank you guys as always a blast. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Nick Zednick. Give my TikTok a follow as well at Nick Zednick. I just started a new movie and TV show review channel on TikTok, so go give that a follow. And most importantly, give the Vigilante 1939 a follow because that's the show that I co-host. You can find that show wherever else you get your podcasts at. Thank you, gentlemen.
Christopher?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at thatchris70, but of course I always prefer you guys follow the Twitter account at G of the Geeks. And I've been saying it, but you guys can also watch on Twitter. We just finally figured out how that worked. So just a heads up, if you guys do watch on Twitter, we cannot see the comments. So if you guys did comment on there, I'm sorry. But yeah, if you want to join the combo, you got to be on YouTube. But thanks for watching either way.
A little context for Zeddy and I's beef over the last little while, that we had a bet over the Blue Jays were playing the White Sox, and we bet that whoever swept the series would host each other's show. So White Sox won 2 out of 3 games, so I avoided the sweep. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Nico. In August, the Jays are playing the Cubbies. I think I'll throw down the gauntlet.
Oh, I
again
think you would love to throw down that bet.
I think I'll throw down that gauntlet and see if he picks it up or not. If he's a smart man, he won't. But we'll see. See what happens with the Jays and the Cubbies in August.
I was so close to making this the Batman Beyond show.
Next time.
Gathering of Batman Beyond. I was this close.
You can follow me at Emmet Davis 7 on Twitter, but just follow us at G of the Geeks on Twitter as well. And you can get Gathering of the Geeks wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Gathering of the Geeks and you will find us. Want to say thanks to Juan, Phil, Cookie, Bob, who came in late, Eric, Juan, Matthew Anderson watched for a bit. Ian was in for a hot second or two. Aaron, our man Ruben Gomez as well. And I think that might have been everybody. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching, as you guys do every week. So for Zeddy, for Chris, and I'm Emmet, and we gather on Sundays.
Latest, Gators.